Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Syed Mahmood. Can you tell me your full name, please?
My name is Muhammad Ahmed Al-Bibawi.
Okay. Can you tell me where you're from?
I'm from Cairo, Egypt.
Right, thank you. Now, in this first part, I'd like to ask you a few questions about yourself. Let's talk about
Okay.
what you do. Do you work or are you a student?
I work as a character animator. Currently working as a freelancer. And between working as a freelancer, sometimes I work for a couple of months at studios.
Okay.
Some studios here in Egypt and others outside the country.
Why did you choose this profession?
Well, I just love animation. My animation is my passion. Uh, I'm a fine art graduate, um, and I chose to major in graphic design and visual media. Then I decided to study character animation online after I finished my studies. And for me, that's what I love to do.
Okay. Where do you see yourself in the future in this profession?
Well, where do I see myself? Let's say within 1 to 2 years, I'd like to be working on an animated feature film at a major studio. Let's say Blue Sky, Sony Pictures Imageworks, something like that.
Okay. Why are you
Yeah.
taking IELTS now?
Um, the reason for taking IELTS is because I'm trying to take the step of moving abroad, studying abroad, or working at a studio, maybe in Canada, New Zealand, or another country where there is a lot of major or um, one of those countries that is considered a hub for the animation industry, like Canada, for example.
Okay. Now, let's
Yeah.
talk about something else. Let's talk about your hometown. What kind
Mhm.
of place is it?
I live in Cairo. It's a huge city, really huge city. And some parts of Cairo is really crowded, really polluted, and some other places, some other areas of Cairo are really nice places. I live in
What's the most interesting part of your city?
the Nile, of course, the Nile. Those areas of the city where you can see or spend some time on the Nile, um, that's like the only place where you can enjoy Cairo.
Okay.
Everything around the Nile, yes.
Would you say it's a good place to live?
If you live in those parts of the city where it's less crowded, I think yes, it's a great city. But in those other areas of the city where it's really crowded and polluted, no, I don't think so.
Now, let's talk about food. What sort of food is popular in your country or region?
Mediterranean cuisine in general. Um, what sort of food? Yeah, I think Mediterranean cuisine, or let me give you some examples. Like um, here in Egypt, we're so famous with with some dishes like falafel and what else? Shawarma, of course.
Okay.
Uh,
What type of food do you like?
me, what type of food I like? I like Egyptian food. I like traditional food. I don't really like fast food or that kind of food. I like, for example, I'll give you some a name for a traditional Egyptian dish. Um, there's some food, this type of this kind of a dish where it's a mix of rice, Egyptian rice, with pieces uh, of lamb and piece of bread.
Okay.
Yes, yeah,
Has the
yeah.
kind of food that you like changed over the years?
Has the yeah, yeah. I spent more than 10 years of my life living in the UAE. So when I was living there, I used to love um Syrian food and Lebanese food. When I came back to Egypt, I was introduced some Egyptian dishes, and I fell in love with them.
Okay. Do you prefer eating at home or at a restaurant?
I prefer to eat at restaurants, but clean restaurants. Those restaurants that pay attention to safety and cleanliness. Other than that, I love to eat at home.
Okay, now I'm going to give you a topic. I'd like you to talk about it for 1 to 2 minutes.
Okay.
Before you talk, you will have 1 minute to think about what you're going to say. Usually at this point, I'd give you a cue card, but now I'm going to send it over to you in the message.
All
So
right.
just give me a second.
Okay.
Yes, I've sent it over to you. Have you received it?
Yes.
Yeah, you can make notes if you wish. Your 1 minute starts now.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Remember, you have 1 to 2 minutes for this. So don't worry if I stop you. I'll tell you when the time is up. Can you start speaking now, please?
Okay. A few years ago, um, I visited Luxor and Aswan in Egypt. It was around January, the end of January, and the beginning of February. Uh, that was the best time to visit Luxor and Aswan around the year. It's Luxor, of course, is located south of Egypt, um, and it's extremely popular for pharaonic temples and the like. Um, why it was popular? Well, to me, I'm always fascinated by the everything related to ancient Egypt. Those people, uh, they knew what they were doing. When it comes to design and architecture, they are masters, true masters. And what I liked, um, I was simply amazed by the level of detail, the level of craftsmanship that you can feel when you stand there in one of those temples. Um, you can feel that those people really mastered what they were doing. And some of those temples are directly looking at the Nile or at the Nile. So you can spend some time at those temples and spend the rest of the day just um, on the Nile itself. And at that part of the country, south of Egypt, you can see the Nile unpolluted, really beautiful. And you can witness for myself, I witnessed the sunrise there, and it was an experience that I will never forget.
Thank you.
Um,
We have been talking about tourism. I'd like to discuss some more general questions relating to this. Why do you think people like to travel?
well, I think it depends on the person. It relates to his or her preferences. Some people like, for me, some people like to travel for relaxation, to meet new people, um, for study, for example. But for me, I like to travel just to relax, to take a break from work. Yeah, like that.
Okay. We have seen an increase in travel and tourism all over the world in the recent decades. Why do you think that is?
I think that's because it's getting traveling from a country to a country, from a continent to a continent, is getting easier, cheaper. I think we can say safer day after day. Yes, I think that's the main reason for that.
Do you think it's better to travel alone or with a group?
Well, I think if you're traveling to a new place, it's better to travel with a group, at least with a friend, especially if that place it's not that safe, or if you know nothing about that place, or you don't even speak their language, I think it's safer to travel with a friend, at least one friend.
Okay. Can you think of any adverse effects of tourism?
Well, first thing that comes to my mind is diseases. It's easier for someone living in a say an African country to take a plane and go to the United States or go to another part of the world carrying an extremely dangerous virus, and that's just one way of spreading the infection. What else? I think adverse effects of traveling. I think it's becoming more common for people um, to use traveling as a way of um, moving dangerous goods or illegal goods between countries, drugs, for example, weapons, even human trafficking. That is, for me, frightening. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. That is the end of your speaking test.
Thank you so much.